Have you ever been hypnotized by someone else's performance? Well, that's the skill that you can learn. Hi, my name is Julia. Welcome to my channel. I am an actress, independent artist, and an entrepreneur, and I upload videos on this channel every single day, so subscribe if you haven't already. As a professional performer with an acting degree, I am going to share my hot tips on how to perform on stage or anywhere else and how to captivate everybody with your performance. I was kind of always drawn to the stage. I was always the star of the room. I was always kind of like performing, and performance is a huge part of my life. When I talk to people just in general, I'm kind of performing all the time, and I see that as a way of communication for me. I realized that I am a performer. Then I started my acting journey, and I went to an acting school and I started my acting career from there. But I was always kind of the one who is the bold one, the loudest one, and the one who's like gonna make jokes all the time, even though if they're not good. And so I was that kind of person, and I still am that kind of person. Stage and performing in general is something that I feel myself doing for the rest of my life, and that's where I feel the most me. I still have a lot of experience to gain as I'm like just starting out, basically.
Girl, I know she's gonna scream. You're a pink pony girl, and you dance at the club, oh mama. I'm just having fun on the stage in my heels. It's where I belong, down.
And also, performing is not about being bold. It's not about being like the funny one, the loud one. It's just my way of approaching it. But there are so many performers who were just quiet and so like in their, world, in their kind of performance, but I still remember them. And I think this is one of the biggest things. It's not about being, showy and being like, yeah, I'm gonna perform tonight. Like, yeah, if that's your way of doing it, then perfect. But if it's not you, and you're mostly like just, I'm just gonna play my guitar tonight, like I'm not gonna be like, yeah, like, no, it's not me. We're gonna see that. Like, as an audience, we can tell if somebody's not being real right now. You have to be yourself. And that's a very hard thing because not a lot of people know who they are exactly. And when people say, oh, just be yourself, that's the hardest part because you need to find yourself first and who you are as a performer, as an artist, as a human being, like who you really are, because not a lot of people know themselves that good. Not a lot of people know what kind of genre or, performing style they are gonna be good at. So you need to, and that's a long journey, but eventually you will have to find yourself and your style and your, tricks and your way of performing. For example, we see Chappell Roan, who's like very loud and bold, and I feel like she's that character who is, out there, and she projects that wave of being bold on the audience. But there are also great performers like Ed Sheeran, who are just standing there with their guitar with like literally a random t-shirt and random pants, and they're so captivating. I've been to one of his concerts. It was amazing. Just by how present and how, real he was, and that's his power. And you basically need to find your power in terms of performing. For example, Chappell is very bold and wild, and like her outfits are crazy, and she's like kind of crazy on stage in a good way, and he's very like real and shy in a way. It's like we really can relate to, and that's his power, and he uses it in such a beautiful way. How do you find that power of your performance? You just perform. In order to perform good, you need to perform a lot. You won't perform well if you performed twice in your life. You're not going to perform well if you performed 3 times in your life. No, we're counting like hundreds and hundreds of performances, and it took really good performers, like about 200, 500 performances to actually get a good one. Perform as much as possible. Is it gonna be, TikTok? Is it gonna be an open mic? Is it gonna be your, showcase? Whatever. Find as many stages as you can and just go there and perform. That's like the simplest thing and the most effective one. Third thing, you need to be present, which I'm sure you've heard, but I'm just gonna share how I understand it and how do I use it in my performances. For example, I'm performing tonight, right? And I don't feel like it. I'm very tired, I have a headache, or I'm scared. For example, I'm scared of performing tonight. So what am I gonna do? I cannot be focused on how scared I am right now. That's like one thing we're not doing. I need to be focused on my actions. So what am I doing in this moment? For example, right now I'm filming this video, and I know a lot of people are struggling even with that. This is my intention. I'm trying to put my video out there because I have a challenge. I need to upload videos on my YouTube channel every single day. So this is my intention, right? I need to do this thing, and I'm doing it right now. So instead of being scared of performing and being seen by people, just think about what you can actually do with your performance. Are you gonna make others smile? Are you gonna make others laugh or cry, or whatever that will be? You just need to focus on that action. In acting, it's called objective. What is your objective? What is your objective of that performance? What is the main thing? And that objective should be addressed to other people. So what do you want to make others feel or do or whatever? Another tip, which is a hard one, but if you can't do it, you're not going to perform well, is enjoying the process. And this is so important, and I think this is the most important thing. If you don't enjoy your performance, if you don't enjoy what you're doing on stage, nobody's gonna enjoy it. If you're scared, if you're thinking about how you look, if you're thinking about what others gonna think about you, we as people read others people energy, right? So we read if people are in a good mood, right? Or in a bad mood. You walk into the room, you see 5 people, and you kind of sense that something has happened or something good has happened, right? And you just like feel the energy of the room. So we as people are very sensitive to that kind of energy. And when we see somebody on stage not being in love with what they're doing right now, we're not going to connect to it. See somebody being scared right now, being so like nervous, being so in their head about it, and kind of like, thinking about what they're doing and all that stuff, we would not be able to connect to it. But if we see a person who goes on stage and they're so vulnerable and they're so present in the moment, and they were just there, and you can see that this person might not be prepared, might not be the best vocalist, but there's something so real about that person that you feel that it's so real, and you really, really would want to connect to it. And it's not about being, loud. It will be mostly about how open and how like vulnerable you are in the moment. Number 5, one of the things that my vocal teacher once said, and I will never ever forget that. If you're going on stage and you're not inviting everybody with you, it will take you one song to do that. Meaning, if you're going on stage and you won't invite us to your world, you will actually have to spend one song to do that. So once you're going on stage, you have to emotionally, or call it whatever, invite us with you. Look at the room and let people connect with you at this second. And that's gonna impact your performance so much because people will instantly connect with you right there. Also, the last thing I'm gonna share is to tell a story. If you're singing a song, if you are performing, a play or doing whatever on stage, or actually you're, just showing your presentation that you did yesterday, you're telling a story and you need to respect the listener and make them understand this story clearly, right? Just I'll do it and I'll leave and whatever and I'm just doing this and this and that. Like, nobody's gonna watch that. But if you are actually telling the story as you were telling this to your friend, a lot of people will connect to it and they will appreciate what you did to them. You actually respected them as listeners. So be very direct. Don't rush through, slow down, and let others listen to you, because that's a very important thing. So that was a little bit of how do I perform and how to perform well on stage. If you have any questions, please ask me and I'll be more than happy to help you with your stage presence and your performances. Follow me on other social media, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, and I will see you in the next video.